Happy Halloween, Leo. Welcome to Dove and Serpent Tarot. This is your weekly tarot forecast. Please like, comment, and subscribe to this channel, especially if this reading resonates with you. That way you won't miss any of the daily, weekly, or monthly tarot readings that we do for your sign. All right, so let's just get into it now for this week. What does Leo need to know? What is the message coming through? What is the situation going on with you this week? Okay, first card today. First card is that Queen of Wands. Let's find out exactly what's going on there. We're going to lay out the rest of our Dove and Serpent spread. And this is going to include a confirmation card, bonus card, mystery card. And we're not going to look at that until the very end, so stick around and we're just going to leave it right there. And we're going to see towards the end of the video how this might tie the reading together or give us the confirmation that we're looking for, okay? It's kind of that unknown factor, that variable that we might be missing that's going to hopefully tie the reading together. Now, we see initially that there are a lot of court cards here today. There is some fire. There is a little bit of earth, not a lot of earth. But it's mostly this air and fire kind of energy. So I see it's a very active situation. It's something that's really going to be requiring your involvement, your participation, your decision-making, your energy, right? And the first court card that we had, of the reading altogether is this Queen of Wands. Now, in some ways, Leo, I think this might be representing you, representing your sense of trying to kind of regulate everybody else, regulate everything else, and be this kind of authority, be this leader, be this person that's kind of responsible for keeping everybody in line for one thing, but then also putting out those little fires that are going on, right? I see that it's kind of you're trying to be like this more mature, more understanding, more compassionate person, and trying to just like take care of everything, get everything settled, right? If there are little arguments here and there, if there are just little conflicts going on, little fires, I see that you're the one that's kind of responsible for trying to keep the peace, trying to maintain a little bit of order in this situation. Does that make sense? Because with this Queen of Wands, it's a very assertive and confident energy, but it's one that has, on the one hand, a lot of responsibility, right? It's kind of on your shoulders to keep everything in order, right? Maintain the peace, maintain the order. But then also, this is a very compassionate and understanding kind of fiery energy. So I think those two really go hand in hand. I think that with your compassion, with your understanding and your maturity, I think you're able to try to keep everybody in line, right? You're trying to keep things from really getting out of hand in this situation. Now, I don't really know, and on this channel, I'm not afraid to say I don't know. But I don't see any indication here of really what domain this is happening in. And maybe as we get a little bit further into the reading and into some of this energy, we can start to narrow it down. Is this a work thing? Is this a home life? Is this your family, friends? Is this something that's just kind of going on within you? Is this you in this kind of battle with yourself or trying to maintain your path? You know. But with so many court cards here, I can't help but feel like this is in some way related to other people in your life around you. And I initially am leaning toward it being a work or career situation. And I'll tell you why. Before we get to this card that's kind of crossing you, we're going to get to this underlying influence, this energy below the surface. I think this, more than being below the surface as in unconscious to you, I think this is what the whole situation rests on. And this is the Queen of Discs. This is that same queen energy, right, that we see here. The same mature, compassionate, understanding, trying to be like, you know, a respectable leader, that sort of thing, right? But with the discs, with this Queen of Discs card, this is kind of like your underlying motivation. What this all kind of rests on is you trying to be successful in this physical realm. So, it could be in the domestic sphere, it could be your home life, But I kind of think, and I don't really have much of a reason for saying this, but I think this has to do with work. I think you're trying to be a responsible, business owner, supervisor, manager, employee, coworker, associate. You're trying to be the responsible one, the mature one in this situation, right? And you're trying to just keep the peace, keep the harmony, make sure everything stays in order so that you can be productive and successful. You don't care about all this fighting, all the drama, all the politics. You just want things to be productive. You want to succeed, right? You want to continue doing your work. And, maybe you kind of wish that you could just do that off by yourself somewhere and not have to be involved with all of these people, because there seems like there's just so much drama and so much like just bickering and maybe politics going on, that you would rather just kind of be off by yourself, doing your work, focusing on your success and building up this life that you want, right? Going after your goals, instead of being distracted by having to put out all of these little fires or trying to maintain some sort of order amidst all of the chaos that we're seeing with some of this fire energy and this air energy and these other court cards, right? So I think this is what it all kind of rests on. This is what it all comes down to, is you just wanting to focus on your work, your success, your goals, and you want to just be relatively left alone. And you don't want to be involved in all of this drama, right? But for whatever reason, you're in it. And it could be because you are the worker with the most longevity in the company, or you're the supervisor, you're the manager, something like that. Or people just kind of look to you as a leader, whether you're, actually the leader or not. I don't think it matters, but you have that energy about you. And that was that Queen of Fire energy. This is that boldness, assertiveness, confidence, but in that fair and understanding and very mature and kind of authoritative way, where people look to you for solutions, right? So now it's almost like all of this turmoil, this fighting, this bickering, this drama, this office politics, it's kind of now your fight to fight, right? Now it's become your problem, kind of. And what we see next with these swords, we're going to get into the rest of these cards on the path of the dove here. The first one that's crossing your path is this, I'm going to call it an immature heir person. They may not be younger. Usually the Princess of Swords to me is going to be someone younger, right? Like a young air sign person. I don't know in this case if it's actually, in terms of age, if they're going to be younger, but they're more mature, immature. They're not as mature as, as perhaps this Knight of Wands is, but we'll get to this person in a minute. But this is the person I think that has that, almost that impulse to just start the drama, start the conflict, right? Just really stir things up, always wants to fight or bicker or have some sort of opinion about something that just causes this kind of mess, right? And it could be that they're a younger air sign person. You may not know their astrological sign, and that's okay. And they may not even be younger. This person could be any age. The point is they have that immaturity where in their communication, they're always starting that drama, right? They're just like, it's not the same as if it were a Princess of Wands. That's somebody who goes around setting little fires and is kind of just mischievous and just has fun doing it, right? That kind of a rascal. But this Princess of Swords is someone who is still relatively young or immature, to be sure. But they're doing these things almost in an intentional manipulative way, where they're just putting an idea out there that they know is going to cause some kind of disruption, You know what I mean? It's more of an intellectual, more of a mental thing than it is somebody who's just running around metaphorically setting fires, you know, just for fun. This is somebody who's a little bit more intentional or a little bit more subtle or clever with what they're doing. And they may not even realize that they're doing this, but for whatever reason, and from whatever impulse this is coming from, they're the cause of a lot of this drama, this office politics, this bickering, this kind of mess that you've been maybe unofficially put in charge of or made responsible for. Does that make sense? If this is resonating with you already, please hit that like button. Leave me some comments. Let me know if I'm on the right track. Maybe we should do these things live, and there could be some more interaction with all of you. I would really love that. Let me know in the comments, too, if you would like these to once in a while be live readings. Okay. We see a little bit of the past situation, maybe with this princess of Swords here. This is the Eight of Swords. This could be talking a little bit more about what this person's doing, what they're up to, kind of their methods and tactics, right? Their MO, so to speak. And this is one of those cards that just like sabotages things. And then when you go through to fix it, or when other people realize that something is kind of out of whack, they don't really know how it happened. They think maybe, oh, did I make a mistake? Did I do this? It really starts this chain of self-doubt and questioning, right? Questioning yourself. But then maybe looking at the person next to you and saying, well, maybe was this your responsibility? Did you make a mistake somewhere down the line? And then that person will think, well, maybe it was me. Maybe I did this. And then it'll keep going down the line. And meanwhile, this person is the one that originated all of this, but they did it in such a way that nobody really knows who's responsible for it. And that's causing a lot of these, like maybe accusations going back and forth. Maybe it's causing a lot of like tension or bad blood in this group of people. And again, this could be in the workplace. I'm using the workplace as the setting for this, but it could be in the home. It could be with your group of friends. But this immature air sign person is causing a lot of trouble with this, you know, almost this kind of subtle and deceptive sabotage kind of energy about them with this Eight of Swords. So this is happening either in the recent past, or it's what's happening at the beginning of this coming week, right? Like in the next couple of days for you. You're going to see that things just start just kind of going wrong in weird places, or there's this weird energy where things that have been running smoothly are just now suddenly there's a problem. Suddenly something's broken or not functioning correctly, right? I mean, it could be literally like putting a little bit of sugar in the gas tank, right? Or, which I'm not a car person, but I've heard that's pretty bad for a car. But it's one of those things where it's just subtle enough that it takes some time to find where the mistake is, right? Making one little mistake on some paperwork that isn't really noticed for days or weeks or months, and then it upsets everything. And then you have to go back through all of that paperwork to find the mistake. Something like that, something along those lines. But this is a person who is in some ways doing it intentionally, or intentionally through their own kind of lack of awareness, right? Lack of self-awareness, lack of consciousness, really. And it's that immaturity. It's either that they have fun being careless, maybe, or they are just thinking, well, that'll be fun. Let's change that, let's change that 8 to a 0 and see what it does down the line. Something, right? But the Eight of Swords, that is some sort of interference in the day-to-day business. And that is something that could just be, there's no way to really pin it down to any one particular event or one particular person who's at fault. It's just, now things are messed up and we've got to fix it. And nobody's happy about it, and there's all this bickering and fighting. And it's almost entertaining to that swords person. Now, they might not be astrologically, an air sign, but they have that kind of intellectual, sabotaging, devious kind of way about them. And again, this is kind of resting on your shoulders. It's kind of up to you to maybe not solve the problem, but you're trying to keep things in order. You're trying to keep people from going at each other's throats, right? You're trying to really get back to this calm, steady, let me just do my work, peaceful kind of attitude. But you've had to step it up into this fire energy in order to try to get things back to normal. Try to get things back on track. Get a little bit of order reestablished, right? And then we also see this Knight of Wands into the picture. I think this is somebody who knows better. This is somebody who is probably older, but has this kind of energy like they can just come into a room and be like, oh, I'll fix it, I'll solve it. You people don't know what you're doing. I'll take care of it. It's that kind of arrogance with this person. And they seem to just be making things worse, right? So I think what is going to take place, if we could kind of recap, is that there's going to be some sort of interference or sabotage, some sort of upset in the order of things, in the way things are functioning. It's going to be through the actions of this person, this immature air sign person, or has those swords qualities. It's going to fall on your shoulders to try to get things back on track, try to reestablish the order and flow in the system, right? The harmony of this thing. And to keep people from going at each other's throats. But then this person comes in and tries to take charge, tries to act like they know what they're doing, has that arrogance that they're just going to fix it. You're all idiots. Let me handle it. But they're just going to make things worse. And so it's kind of going to be then a battle between the two of you, where you're trying to do things with this, calm, this fairness, this compassion, this understanding, trying not to get upset, but you're going to be firm and assertive. But then this kind of arrogant a-hole comes into the picture and starts trying to take over, right? And this could be something like a new manager, a new supervisor, a new employee, or a consultant, or somebody brought in, or just somebody who thinks they know you're all idiots, they can handle it, let them do it, right? That kind of arrogance. And so that's the battle. I think that's the kind of fight this week, unfortunately. And then we see at the top of the spread this 3 of swords, more swords energy, right? This is that kind of grief and sadness and sorrow and lamenting and the kind of, woe is me, why is this happening, right? And I think that is the reading in a nutshell here, from your point of view, I think, is why is this happening? Why can't I just do my thing, have my peace, do my work, have my success, and work on my goals, whatever they are, domestic sphere, employment, career, wherever this is landing for you. I think you just want to get to your work and do what you need to do. Take care of business. So there's a little bit of that, why does this keep happening? Why is this happening now? This is the worst possible time. Right? Why can't you people get it together and figure it out? Right? So there's that kind of lamenting going on. And I think that's the primary energy with you. And I say that because we're going to segue now right into the path of the serpent. We have this 8 of Cups representing you and what your primary headspace is at right now. And it goes right from this 3 of Swords into this 8 of Cups. You have this lamentation, right? This kind of sorrow, this woe about this situation. And the fact that this may be happening again, it might not be the first time something like this has happened. You're starting to lose a little bit of your faith, hope, trust, optimism, a little bit of that pleasure and joy that you had doing whatever this work is, whatever this situation is, if it's in your home life, domestic sphere, if it's in your work, your career, your employment situation, if this is your group of friends, your family member, whatever. Wherever it is that you're just trying to do your things, take care of yourself, and achieve your goals, wherever that is taking place, you're starting to lose a little bit of faith, hope, and trust and optimism in this situation, in these people, in this, wherever this arena is, whatever this building is that you all have to coexist within. You're starting to lose whatever joy was left there, right? You're starting to lose any kind of hope or faith that this is going to work out, right? Because all of this water is draining out of these cups. These cups used to be quite full. Maybe you enjoyed this area more. And now because this thing, either through this particular instance or the fact that this is yet happening again, is causing some of the water, most of the water, to drain out of this situation. All right? So I think that's the primary focus here, is your loss of joy and pleasure in this area of your life. Okay? And I know I was fairly specific with the path of the dove there. Maybe that didn't resonate with you fully. But I think the main idea, and that could be maybe just a metaphor or an analogy for why there is this loss of joy and optimism and hope and this pleasure in this work that you're doing. Okay. So that's where we see your head there. That's where you are kind of like right now, And then the next card we see is the High Priestess. This is in the position of the nature of your relationships with other people, or the nature of your relationship with this particular group of people or this situation specifically. And I think this is a situation where you are maybe hoping, with the High Priestess, you are hoping that this realm of your life, right, if this is your workplace, let's say, or if this is your family at home, you are hoping that through that group of people, you would be receiving this joy and pleasure and this sense of purpose. Like there'd be a revelation of life, that there'd be some sort of spiritual experience, and you would suddenly understand the harmony and the beauty and the purpose of it all. But when things like this keep happening, I think it really makes you question if there is any kind of purpose or order or spiritual experience to be had in these mundane things, right? And I think the High Priestess is here as well to say that, look, even through these conflicts, even through some of this kind of upsetting fire and air energy, right? The wands, the swords, these court cards, right? Because on the path of the dove here, it's all swords and wands. It's all fire and air. Those are active elements. And when those get together, they feed on each other, right? There's just, things get heated, more words get said. More words get said, things get more heated. When you're just down here trying to chill with this earth energy, right? But I think what the High Priestess is saying is that through all of this active energy here, there is a higher order, a higher purpose, a higher understanding to be gleaned from it all. It is through these very trying moments that you're able to really see what you're made of, who you are, what your purpose is, and really get a sense of, hey, I don't belong here, or this is where I really function well. This is what I'm really good at, right? So the High Priestess is there to kind of remind you that it's through these relationships, hot or cold, active or passive, harmonious or full of friction and conflict, which is what we're seeing here today. It's through those relationships that we're able to experience the divine, right? And part of that, I think, and this is probably just my opinion, part of that divinity, right? Part of that spiritual experience is the fact that it is so varied, that it is from one moment to the next, the energies are just so different. Things are always ebbing and flowing. Things are always waxing and waning. And the High Priestess rules the moon energy, right? And the moon ebbs and flows. The moon reflects the light of the sun, right? That true spiritual fire, that divine light. The moon reflects that. And that reflection is what makes things like this appear differently and change. The energies come and go, they ebb and flow, right? They change phases, they look differently at different times. And that's kind of the beauty of it all, is that it's always kind of changing. And from one moment to the next, your interactions with somebody are going to change. The way that the two of you are exchanging energy is going to change. It's never the same snapshot at any moment. And that's why I really like the tarot. And that's why I like the I Ching as well. It's because you can take a snapshot of that spiritual light that's being reflected down here onto the earth plane, right? Into our external world, our world of circumstances. The tarot and the I Ching will take a snapshot of that energy, and you can see what those colors look like at that moment. And then if I were to reshuffle and take another snapshot just a second later, the energy would be completely different. There might be some things that are a little bit similar, but you can see how new things are coming in, things are going out, right? Things are glowing, things are fading. And anyway, that's the message of the moon card. So I think there is a higher issue here, a deeper issue with you than just lamenting the fact that you're going through this BS with these people, with this conflict, with this now responsibility that's on you. Right? There's a higher or deeper meaning there, a deeper issue for you. And that is kind of, who am I? Why am I here? And how do I relate to the way things are changing? Because maybe this princess, or maybe this queen of discs, maybe this queen of discs is you really needing a sense of routine, right? Maybe this is you want things to be a certain way all the time. That kind of stability and order and routine is where you've always kind of felt most comfortable. And maybe this moon card is saying that, look, we're going to take you out of this kind of stable, safe routine for a while and see if that can shake your spirit awake a little bit. Does that make sense? I'm not trying to get too mystical or spiritual or whatever here. But I think with the High Priestess, there might be a little bit of that going on. Anyway, the next card that we see is the Eon, or Judgment, Wake Up Call, Rebirth. This is in the position of your fears, worries, and concerns. So I am wondering now, even more, if the situation and this reading and this energy in particular is not trying to pull you out of this safe routine that you're on, right? This safety, security, this harmony, this pattern of living, right? This habit that you're in. If it's not trying to pull you out of that through all of this active energy, through all of this fire, right? This is a fire card. We see a lot of fire down here. And this air, this active energy. If it's not trying to pull you out and shake you awake and try to get you to experience the world in a different way, a new way. And maybe that is a little bit of a frightening idea. Because this card is in the position of your fears, worries, concerns. This is kind of that fear that you have to get over. You have to overcome this fear of, maybe the fear of the unknown, the fear of doing something out of your comfort zone, getting out of your routine, out of your habit, that routine life that you're in, possibly, I don't know for sure. But this could be the next phase of your life. This is usually a decision about the past and opening a new door to the future, this card here. So maybe there is a decision that you have to make regarding this situation that you're in. If this is in the workplace, or if this is your domestic situation, maybe you have to kind of decide what you're going to do. Is it time to move on? Is it time to overcome your fear of change or of getting out of your routine, breaking the habits? Right? If you've been in this company for a while and you're very comfortable, things have become very routine, you know what to expect, every day is the same, right? Do you need to get over your fear of losing that, venturing outside of that, to see what else is out there, to see what kind of spiritual experiences you can receive? When things start to change, it's easy to get a glimpse of that spiritual light, right? It's in the change, during the change, that I think we're most aware. And especially if you're overcoming some kind of a routine or some kind of a habit, right? Where you're functioning and you want to just kind of do your thing and function, and you like it to be routine. But something's going to come and shake you out of that routine, and it's going to be a little bit of a wake up, an awakening, right? Now, I hope I'm not crossing any boundaries or stepping over any lines here. I'm not trying to be offensive in any way. I'm that kind of person where I like routine. I like knowing what I'm going to do every day, what time, you know what I mean? I like having that kind of stability and routine, right? But I also like spontaneity. And I like doing things that are just kind of out of the blue, just random things. Because I think that snaps me out of my routine, makes me a little bit more aware. Now that can go to the extreme end when we are too self-conscious, that we get that anxiety, that social kind of anxiety, or just that existential anxiety, when we're too aware of ourselves. But those moments are useful too, and I think the final card on the path of the Serpent is this Seven of Wands, and this might be that anxiety that you have when you're too aware of yourself, right? It's comfortable to be in this kind of routine because it makes us a little bit less aware of ourselves, right? We're functioning. We don't need to pay that much attention to our feelings, our physical body, our thoughts. We're in that routine. We're in that zone, right? But this is coming to shake us out of that, to wake us up, at least for a moment. And waking up to being conscious of ourselves and where we're at, what we're doing, right? I think in some mystical traditions, it's called self-remembering, right? You remember that, oh, hey, I'm here, I'm conscious, I'm a self. And that's going to cause some of this anxiety. This is the Seven of Swords. This is kind of you feeling like you're this central wand here, this wooden staff, and the environment, the world, this self-consciousness feels like these really intimidating, strong, and dominant 6 wands that are around you, right? So it's that kind of anxiety that we might get when we suddenly wake up and realize that we are a self and we are conscious and we are in the middle of this environment, right? So this could be some of that self-consciousness to the extreme, like anxiety, kind of, right? And I don't know that this is a good place to end this reading on, but this reading is getting pretty long. So we're going to take a look at this confirmation card now and see what this might reveal to us, if this can give us a bit of a recap or a consolidation or some kind of a confirmation for this reading, all right? And this is a 5 of Wands. So this is more fire, right? This is more of that fiery energy. And I think that kind of what this is saying is that it's going to be a struggle. It's going to be a battle. Just solving this, look at this mess, right? Solving this mess, that we see on the path of the dove. Solving this issue here is going to take a lot of energy from you. It's going to be a struggle. It's going to be a battle. It's going to be something that you're going to have to just kind of fight to finish. Okay? So that's confirming for us, I think, just that, this situation is solvable. It's going to take some energy. You're going to have to really, really get to it and put in the work and just make the effort to do what you can to fix it. I know it's probably not your official responsibility, but you've got that Queen of Wands energy. Might as well use it, get that thing taken care of. The bigger issue is overcoming this kind of dissatisfaction that you feel, this loss of faith, hope, joy, satisfaction in your life, and how you can incorporate more spiritual experiences, right? And if you're going to need to use this situation on the path of the dove, this mess, use that as your wake-up call and allow yourself to feel this kind of self-consciousness and really make an effort and use this Five of Wands energy to stay awake for a little while at least. You know what I mean? Now, I hope this reading wasn't too hocus pocus, too abstract. We're going to look at it a little bit deeper in the extended version, Leo, and you can become a member of this channel by clicking on the link down in the description box. This was your weekly tarot forecast on Dove and Serpent Tarot. Ooh, chamomile.